VGK travels to Phoenix tonight to face the Coyotes. Could we see a Golden Knights letdown after the big W against Edmonton? We'll get into that and much, much more on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Collick from Las Vegas, and thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcast, and please subscribe to Locked On Golden Knights. That is our YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by Gametime. Download the Gametime app today, create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. So, Chris, Golden Knights come off of Tuesday's streak-snapping 3-1 victory over the Edmonton Oilers. Could there be a letdown tonight in the Valley of the Sun?
It's fair. I mean, you start by looking at the home and road splits for the Golden Knights. Golden Knights at home 19-5-2, on the road 11-10-4. Arizona at home 15-9. So you start by looking at those metrics and kind of go from there. And I think the simple question is, will the Golden Knights play down to their competition? It's actually something Chris, I think, talked about on the podcast, just mentioning sometimes the Golden Knights play better against the better teams, and then the games maybe they should win, they don't play as well. And it's not knocking the Coyotes. They're not a bad team by any means. They're hanging out in the playoff hunt, I guess. They got a really good young roster that just might need more experience, but they're also a hungry young roster, and it's going to be a great environment down at the Mullet tonight. There's going to be probably more Golden Knight fans down there than Coyote fans, if I had to take a guess. So that's that'll give the Golden Knights some extra juice as well.
There is a big logjam in the West, in Arizona currently in sixth place in the Central, 5 points out of a playoff spot. The VGK they have to be concerned about banking points really in each and every game. So it's really crazy in the Pacific, because now you have Vancouver leading by 7 over VGK. VGK leads by 7 now. It's starting to get spread out a little bit over the Edmonton Oilers. So there's a lot going on, and this could be the last game played seriously in Arizona, because the NHL Players Association president, Marty Walsh, you've heard an awful lot about what's been happening there, about whether or not they're going to build a new arena, what have you. And Alex Marullo has said that he is banking on having a new arena. And yesterday, the team had tweeted out, "We have every intention of staying in Arizona and bringing a Stanley Cup to this great state." Okay, that's great, but they're not seeing any sort of movement here. They failed to meet several deadlines, did the Coyotes. The league and the players union want an answer immediately, as soon as this weekend, perhaps. So this is a major distraction for the team, I am sure. They've had all different plots of land, right? We've been reading from afar about they're going to move here, they've got a space there, they have land, this, that, but nothing at all has come to fruition for the Arizona Coyotes, and the league now is going to have an ultimatum of sorts. So this is a major distraction. I don't care who you are. If you're a player on this team, if you're associated with the organization, you are wondering where you're going to be in the future. You have to be, right?
It's all very fair. The Coyotes social media team has been hard at work, doing the political stuff, I guess, trying to remind everyone that, hey, there's going to be a good ending to this. And most notably with the Coyotes stadium situation, you had whatever area they were trying to relocate to inside of Arizona get shut down. And it was the local residents that said no. The funding was there, everything was good, and you just had a bunch of people who didn't want to deal with the traffic, unfortunately. And I don't know what the situation is, so I'm not going to get too deep into that. I mean, I understand, I guess, but I don't know. Heck to the Coyotes. I mean, I hate to rat on them. It's an honest to God joke, the situation they have as far as their stadium. They play in an arena that is smaller than the Dollar Loan Center where the Henderson Silver Knights play. I mean, move them up to Henderson and they can share the Dollar Loan Center. I'm not sure if that's the best option or not, but I guess what gets me about that is the fact that Gary Bettman and the NHL are talking a lot about expansion right now. You hear Utah being mentioned a ton all of a sudden, and Houston and some other areas where the NHL may want to go, back to Quebec, Atlanta, but how could they be talking about expansion when you have one of your NHL franchises playing in a college barn? Not even built for them. Their logo's not even on the ice last time I checked. So that's the biggest thing that I don't understand about it. But on the game side, I mean, you started by mentioning letdown, and it's honestly a really good perspective, right? Monday, Fleury, and if Fleury is still on the Wild by that point, but Monday, Fleury and the Wild come back to Vegas. He had the big game, of course, against the Oilers a couple nights ago. So this could be a letdown spot. And there's going to be some questions in the nets tonight as well. We'll see exactly how that goes. Maybe we'll save that for the second. Well, we'll see. Adin Hill didn't practice on Wednesday.
Okay, we don't have to do a second
I don't
segment.
know. We'll say that. We'll get into the rotation in the second segment, but
But I have an interesting stat for you there, Mr. Golick. So I'm just looking at the standings last night. So VGK's current goal differential is 27, and that puts them at 6th in the Western Conference. Believe it or not, VGK 30 games, right, over 500 last year, and the goal 29 actually, and the goal differential was 43 goals. Isn't that crazy? I think that's a crazy stat. So they don't blow out teams, but it's not a big differential at all as far as goals go.
Plus 27 overall. I guess let's see where the overall league rankings are and who the teams are around them.
Do you like
Vancouver's
that stat? I don't know. I just popped out. Okay.
Yeah, no, Vancouver's plus 60. Boston plus 42, plus 36 for Winnipeg. Colorado's right there. And then you go down a little bit to the Golden Knights. I mean, injuries obviously play a part. You're missing Jack Eichel for a long time. You're missing William Karlsson for a long time. You're missing Shea Theodore for a long time. You're missing Adin Hill for a long time. You give me those 4 players I just mentioned, and I think that goal differential is probably in the mid 30s to even possibly low 40s. Probably even the 40s, I would honestly say. I think those 4 players are worth an eight goal swing, right? Because every time one goes down, the other side goes up. So that's really all we're talking about is 8 to 10 goals as far as a differential from where they are now and getting into the 40s. So it's interesting. Let's see where they end up. It's not certainly like the LA Kings that we were talking about last year when they were like at a 0 the entire season, and they had a hot stretch in the last 2 weeks of the year, which brought their goal differential up. That's something important. Where's the Coyotes?
Chicago minus 70? Is Chicago minus 70?
Arizona's minus 4. We'll start there. And Chicago is a minus 73. But they have a comfortable 19 goal differential between them and the Sharks. So I don't think the Blackhawks are going to fall that far.
Yeah. Arizona, right before the break, went into a bit of a tailspin. They lost their last 3, but they're 15-9-0 at home. And VGK just 11-10-4 on the road. So something could give there. Clayton Keller leading with 45 points. Connor Ingram in net, very respectable. And VGK looking to avenge that November loss where they were shut out 2-0 here in Las Vegas.
The Golden Knights having a little bit of juice in this game is never a bad thing. A remind, some bulletin board material, I guess, about being reminded that that they lost, that they got shut out on a big Saturday night game at T-Mobile Arena. I was chuckling because I was thinking about the comment that Coach Cassidy made. If the Golden Knights didn't play better, they wouldn't be able to beat Arizona in January or something like that.
So maybe Karlsson.
And Karlsson, there you go. Yes, and Karlsson. So I guess the Coyotes got some I mean, do the Coyotes like play that like on their Minitron? It's not a jumbotron; it's a Minitron. Do they play that on the Minitron before the game? Carlson's comment during the parade and Cassidy's post game presser and all that to like get the fans in a frenzy down there. I don't know. That would be interesting. Going back to the Coyotes' last 13 games, they're 4-7-2. If I'm looking at this properly, giving up a lot of goals. I mean, 3-game losing streak, giving up 3, 6, and 6. When they won their games, they won by giving up only 2 goals. Then they lost a couple games, giving up 3 and 2 goals. So you just don't know which Coyotes team is going to show up tonight. But this is where the Golden Knights need to win a game simply by class, right? They're the better team. They're the Cup champions. They have a much better level of talent than the Coyotes, and that needs to play out. The Golden Knights can't play down. They can't go into this game assuming it's going to be easy. These are the points that they really need to bank because there's tougher games. I mean, every game gets a little bit tougher the deeper the season gets.
So they did replace, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, whatever was in the center of the ice with a coyote biting an NFL player's hand. Am I correct there?
Exactly, Tony. Exactly. And then you're the one with the coyote on the leash, like trying to hold him back. And never mind. Okay.
Coming up next, we talk about VGK's goalie rotation. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. We are driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 360 million monthly visitors, according to Indeed data. And matching engine, they also have that. It helps to find quality candidates in fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, for screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates even faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree that Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to recent Indeed surveys. And you can join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show, Locked On Golden Knights, will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get more jobs, more visibility at Indeed at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this very Locked On Golden Knights podcast. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. And we are brought to you by a new sponsor, Robinhood Retirement. That's Robinhood. You can get started at Robinhood.com/boost. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA account? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar that you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April the 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar that you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gives you a lot, and it gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. The offer is good through April 30th, so get started at Robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of the first 3% match. And you must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years at 3% matching on transfers subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is a registered broker dealer. Once again, that is Robinhood.com/boost. Welcome back, Locked On Golden Knights. This Thursday edition on a super weekend ahead. Tony Cardasco and Chris Scala coming to you from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen. Make sure that you subscribe to that YouTube channel because that's where you could find on Saturdays the Chris and Chris Show, YouTube exclusive. And on Fridays, everywhere, we have our WTF What the Friday. And speaking of WTFs, Super Weekend, was that Superman William Carlson climbing up the sphere? I mean, the number 2 star from a few nights ago. I mean, number 2 star. It still just
That was
blows
you
my
climbing
mind.
up there. That was you climbing, trying to get a message against William Carlson. That was you trying to put something up there.
You found me out. You found me out. But if I were the programmer, just one other note on the guy that was up on the sphere. If I'm the programmer, I just turned that sphere into hot lava, and then maybe the guy falls down and jumps like the lava's coming. Adin Hill, not on the ice as you mentioned, Chris, yesterday. Was this a maintenance day? Was this load management? Coming back one game after the break, faced a lot of shots, 30 shots, man. Maybe he's just flat out tired in that Edmonton game. Do you have any ideas?
No, I don't. And this is weird because the Golden Knights did hold a practice at 11:30 yesterday, and then they obviously made the long trek down to Arizona afterwards. And there's usually media availability, and the team puts it out there, a couple interviews and Coach Cassidy's remarks, and that's that. But there's nothing on the Golden Knights website even talking about yesterday's practice. Ken from Sinbin was the only one who I even saw any comments from talking about this. And Darren Millard, one of the analysts, I guess, that does various ventures, I guess, for the Golden Knights, TV, radio, and all sorts of fun stuff. He's also, he skates here in town. He plays in some leagues and stuff like that. And he's one of the practice e-bugs, emergency backup goalie, to help when they need someone between the pipes. So Millard was out there. The fact that Millard was out there suggests that maybe there's nothing to be concerned about because a goalie was not called up. Now, if a goaltender gets called up at some point today, now we got something cooking. And obviously it's 6:50 in the morning, so it's too early for that to happen. If there's going to be any type of call up, honestly, I don't know. I don't think the Golden Knights would even put it out there until about 6 o'clock tonight. I think that's honestly how long they would. Well, the game was at 6, maybe about 5 o'clock. So that's the news we'll have to wait for. There was nothing to suggest Adin had any issues, but Jack Eichel said he was fine, and then he's been out for 10 or 12 games already. So the hope is there's no issues at all lingering with Adin Hill. The fact that he's not practicing right after the long break is alarming. And maybe the Golden Knights are just taking a very cautious approach here, which is certainly fair. Maybe Adin is not in the cards to play tonight. Maybe the start's going to be for Logan anyway. So there's no reason to even rush Adin Hill if he's not feeling 100%, and literally 100% on the head, because no one's feeling 100% at this time of the year, even after the All-Star break. So something worth watching. I'm probably a little more concerned than most, though, honestly, about it.
Yeah, you've been reading a lot into Adin Hill and his progress and coming back and then getting re-injured, supposedly not being ready, what have you, all of that.
The fact that he's never played more than 26 or 27 regular season games in his career. That's where the reading stops right there. No disrespect, Adin, but that's his reality.
Everything seemed okay the other night when you visited with him in the locker room after the game?
I caught him at the end after I was talking to Connor McDavid. I just like saying that. I got him at the end there, and I was able to get the quick question in about if there is any about what he was talking to the officials about and stuff like that. So in the few minutes I was there, he seemed okay, and he was standing up, his normal happy-go-lucky self, smiling at all the questions and everything. So I thought he was okay. He looked really good on the ice. He made a number of big saves, and obviously any one of those big saves, especially where it was like a 2-on-1 situation where he shut the door, any one of those could have messed with whatever his lower body situation is. Who knows? But like I said, I hope there's not an issue there, because if Logan goes tonight and the team doesn't do well, it'll be a long show tomorrow.
Yeah, so Hill or LT, you're saying LT probably tonight, and then how does this impact the rotation? We know that Cassidy likes to go with the hot hand, Chris, but that hot hand definitely would not be Hill's glove hand, right? That's not the hot hand.
I mean, technically, credit Doyle, my new friend Doyle, for pointing this out. Again, technically, Connor McDavid's goal was a glove hand goal that beat him in that Oilers game. So I think that's 4 straight glove side goals that he gave up.
That's not the hot
that's
hand.
not a.
That's not the hot hand.
Yeah, but no one's saving that shot. That's not how I look at that one. So, Coach Cassidy, I'm actually kind of kicking myself for not asking him about this in the post game press conference the other nights. But Cassidy likes to map out the starters relatively far in advance. I've asked him about this 2 or 3 times leading up to where we are now, and Cassidy has talked about the fact that there is a rotation. They stick to it, and they were able to stick to it for a long time. So on whatever whiteboard, chalkboard, wherever they have this up, they do have the games mapped out probably for the entire month. Their perfect scenario. Not as much about the hot hand as much as it is which goalie gives us the best chance to win. And let's face it, at this point, it's how many starts can we get Adin Hill versus wearing him out or risking re-injury. I think that's honestly the way they're looking at that right now. And this is a tough spot, right? The Golden Knights play today, Thursday. They play Monday against Minnesota, and then Sunday against Carolina. So the Golden Knights, coming out of the All-Star break, they have 4 games in a 12-day period, so an average of 3 days off between games. Good chance for the rest of the NHL finally to catch up. And then it's a pretty quick blitz in the last 11 days of the season. They're going to play 7 games. So obviously things are going to get a lot tighter. This seems like a spot where Logan Thompson gets the starts, just not even considering anything with Adin Hill right now.
Right.
Logan's last start, January 27th against the Red Wings. If Logan doesn't start tonight or doesn't start Monday, you're not starting him against the Carolina Hurricanes. That's a big game. So you're looking at a very long amount of time between starts. So, but do the Golden Knights want Adin Hill sitting for 6 days between starts? Because you got to get that rhythm. You can't have both goalies in rhythm when you have a 1A and a 1B-ish situation. It's still 1A and 1B as far as coach is concerned until Coach Cassidy shows us otherwise with the starts. So let's be clear about that right now. Do you want 6 days between Adin Hill starts? No. Do you want 13 days between Logan Thompson starts? No. So we'll see. I got a feeling it's going to be Logan tonight, especially with Adin not taking the ice yesterday, though.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. Coming up next, we will have our locks of the night and our predictions. It's coming your way next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Gametime, the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. Gametime has all sorts of deals that you could pick up on tickets right until the start of an event, and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute stats, find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and much, much more. With zone deals, you get to pick the section, and then Gametime will pick the seats. That's an average of 18% savings, by the way. And Gametime with the guarantee, that means that you will always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section a row for less, Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back. Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We do appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Thank you so, so much. And make sure that you check out those 2 cats right there on the left side of your screen. That is Chris and Chris show on Saturdays. My goodness. And on Friday, of course, WTF. Let's go into our locks of the night and our predictions. And all right, at least little Chris looks like he's feeling better. That's a good thing. So he's not going to need He's not going to need load management for Saturday's show. He's okay.
No, he had plenty of load management since last Thursday. He's good.
Okay. Do you want to get him in here for his picks?
Chris, get close. Give us your 2 players that you're going to score for the Golden Knights against the Coyotes and your prediction for the score. Get close. Get close. Get close. There you go.
Let's go. So Cotter and Marchie.
Cotter and Marchie. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
You got a score prediction, bud?
6-1 Vegas.
6-1 Vegas.
6-1 Vegas.
All right.
6-1 Vegas. There we go.
I'll go. I have 3-2 OT.
Thanks, buddy.
VGK on the losing end, low scoring affair. 1 point for the loss, but they bank a point. And I've got Cotter. I actually have Cotter too, and Colasar, because I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. And one of those guys get in there. And you had mentioned that Colasar in the fourth line, they didn't really use much of the fourth line in the Edmonton game. So they'll use them tonight. They're going to need that fourth line to come through.
Yeah, I mean, again, credit Cassidy for finding a way to put together 3 solid, responsible lines, and we'll see what Cassidy does with the lines. I don't envision Brisson being on the fourth line tonight, but you never know. With the way Coach Cassidy goes, he's going to do what he thinks is best, and he's usually right. So whatever Coach Cassidy says, I'm good with there. Nick Waugh, Ivan Barbashev, they're hot. I'm not going to go away from that right now. I'm going to go with the chalk tonight. I'm going to go 5-4, though. I just don't think this is a 5-4 Vegas. I don't see this being as crisp of a game as Coach Cassidy wanted the Golden Knights and delivered in their effort on Tuesday against the Oilers, pardon me. So I think there's some letdown, but I think the Golden Knights are good enough to walk away with 2 points in regulation. And like I said, Nick Waugh, I mean, we're seeing a new version of him right now. And, Kelly McCrimmon's really got to be licking his chops watching Nick Waugh do what he does, because they got him, I think, for 2 more years at this deal right now or something like that. And also Chandler Stevenson's going to want to raise, and McCrimmon's going to be like, I got Nick Waugh, bro. I'm good. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. That'll be another topic for a show napkin probably for next week, as we're going to have no games to talk about Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we're going to have to make some stuff up, Tony. We're gonna have to get a big. We're gonna have to go to a public restroom and crank the handle like 6 times, get a longer napkin, because we got a rough week coming up.
Yeah, we sure
more
do.
Napkin space.
Yeah. Last night, the Vegas Thrill, the newest team here in the Valley, with the big W at Omaha. We must have had over 100 people at the watch party there, Parkway Tavern, thanks to them.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if very many people know this, but there's a good partnership between the Thrill and the Vegas Golden Knights. And so they're part of a partnership now that is really good, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Their first game will be on the 15th. And then I think I'm hoping that other than the Little Baby concert coming up this weekend, that I won't be going to very many parties again. So I went I've got a friend, right?
Little Baby concert? Is that like a real, like a real person?
Oh yeah. It's hip hop, bro. So I don't know. I've got a friend who's here, Radio Row from Network, and all we do, I can't win this, right? But I just kind of fake things too. We try to one up each other on parties and what we did. And so he's like, "Oh, I went to dinner
Little
with
Baby is your
ace
of
no,
spades.
The call out was he said, I went to dinner with Dan Patrick tonight. I said, oh yeah. Well, I was hanging out with Shannon Sharp. And then he was like, okay, well,
Dan Patrick, he wins, you lose.
Shannon Sharp doesn't win.
No.
His the fathead party, that was fun.
I heard he's not nice to golf with. I'll leave it at that. I heard he's not a pleasant golfer. Really, Parkway Tavern, shout out for having my favorite beer on the planet on tap.
What is that?
Banana bread beer.
Where is that? Something that is made here? Is it a local brewery?
Eagle. No, I don't think it's Vegas. Eagle is. It used to be Wells. I think now it's Eagle something. I don't know how that whole stuff works out, but that's the only place in the Valley where I've actually been able to get banana bread beer on tap, and it's hard to even find like in all your other liquor stores and stuff, like the bigger liquor stores. Sometimes it's not. But if I'm looking for banana bread, I can go to the Parkway right here in Henderson, or the one on the other side of town by Flamingo and 215, or Sunset and 215.
We'll We'll have to get you there for happy hour. It's a lot of fun at Parkway. And thanks to them. Of course, thanks to everyone for tuning in today. Thanks to Superman William Carlson for making the show, Climbing the Sphere, the number 2 star. We appreciate you tuning in, especially our everydayers. I sometimes do this pretty much to troll one of our followers that does a recap of the
You
show.
sometimes say negative things about William Carlson. You don't do it every show.
There's some days where I do have maintenance days. Okay.
Yeah,
So
you take you only troll William Carlson on days ending in Y. Those are the only days of the week you do it.
Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. For my man Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco. There's my name drop of the day. I did a podcast with Chris Golick. See you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.
Picked up this Mark Stone orange work zone card. I think it's a funny card just with all the construction around Vegas. Anyway, okay, I'm done. Sorry.